Blessed be everyone. Today I'm answering another question about spell crafting and as opposed to not doing spells. So the question was to do with, do I really need to do spells? Do I really need the herbs and all the things that go with doing a spell? Or can I just manifest or do magic without needing to use any of those things? So that's what we're going to talk about today in this video. But before I do, hi, I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. If you're new to the channel and you want to become a witch or a Wiccan, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. What's fun about magic sometimes is the whole designing the spell, doing the spell, and getting really into physically doing something. It also helps with motivation. So from a psychological point of view, working with herbs, even just doing a simple candle spell is a really good way to focus your intention and to really feel like you are doing something and taking action, and also just enjoying the process of being consciously intentional for a certain point of time. Using spells and correspondences is something that all cultures from around the world include in their manifesting, if you're wanting to use a modern term for magic. So it is something that's very common, and because it's so common amongst all cultures, it's most likely because it works. However, that doesn't mean that not using any of those things doesn't work at times either, because in our modern day and age, we have a lot of people following the law of attraction, and the whole concept behind law of attraction is that you don't need any of these things, essentially. You can just do this by focusing your intention and your desire and your thoughts on experiencing what it is that you want as if you already have it. And that certainly does work. I have done this myself a lot. So I have done spells and traditional sort of magic, and I've also done law of attraction exercises, I guess you could call them, and it still works. So it depends though on what it is that you're doing. So with all magic and law of attraction, it really depends what you're doing and what you're trying to bring in as to what's going to work better. So just thinking about what it is that you want, knowing that you have the capacity to have it, feeling as if you already have it, sometimes that's enough. Sometimes what you want can manifest within the hour, just doing that. Sometimes it takes longer. Like magic, the timing really depends on so many different factors. With magic, we're adding not just the intention, but we're adding other things that support the intention. So we're adding what's called correspondences. Now, when we look at the law of attraction techniques, we find that a lot of people are coming out with very, very similar things to what we traditionally do in magic. Instead of using maybe herbs and using gemstones and all of the other correspondence tools, like the planetary sigils and all sorts of things, in law of attraction they're using vision boards. But with what happens with a vision board, you're cutting out pictures from magazines, or you may be doing some drawing of a situation or something that you're wanting to manifest. It's a correspondence. The same as basil is a correspondence to many different things. So when you're using law of attraction techniques like a vision board, or even just doing a technique where you write a list of the things you want the universe to bring in for you, that is a form of correspondence. It's a form of magic. It's just probably a more modern form, because we're using magazines and tools that we have in this day and age that, you know, maybe 2,000 years ago wasn't so common. We definitely didn't have magazines back then. So it's not that different. However, I have also manifested things where I have not done anything except just sit and imagine that I already have it, and practice that maybe every day. And this is for big things, long-term things, but also for really short-term things. Like I use this example because it's probably the best example that I have, that I can remember, is I needed some chairs. I was thinking, okay, I want to have a tapping group here, and I need extra chairs. So I thought, okay, I need extra chairs. And then I didn't think anything of it. I wasn't trying to manifest chairs. I was just thinking I need more chairs. An hour later, the neighbours got some chairs that they put out on the sidewalk for people to just come and take, because that's what they do around here. If they don't want something, they just put it on the sidewalk and people just come and take it. So I had 5 chairs just manifest within the hour. I didn't do a spell for it. I didn't do a vision board for it. I didn't do anything except go, yeah, I need some chairs. So yes, that can happen. But what happened there, of course, there was an alignment between me and the neighbour. The neighbour was already going to throw their chairs out, and I just happened to be needing them. And so it was very easy for magic to just align something simply because I had the thought to bring it in. But as you know, there are other things in our lives that we're wanting to bring in, that we're wanting to manifest, that aren't that well aligned in timing, and we need to have them align. Or it may be a big thing that's got many different things associated with it, and so we need to be doing magic from various different angles and different types of magic. So I was talking the other day to some of the students in Mystery Witch School 101, and we were talking about job interviews and how you could use Mercury, so working with the planet Mercury on communication, but also to work with the planet Venus for seduction and to make you more appealing when you go for an interview. So you can communicate well, but you also have those attractive qualities, that magnetic quality of Venus. So you're going from different angles for one thing to make it more likely that you're going to go and get that job. Now, from a law of attraction point of view, you could just imagine that you already have that job, and that's certainly something you want to do if you're also doing magic, to do that as well. But the more you can throw at something, the more likely you are going to be able to manifest it if you're throwing things from different angles and taking all of the different aspects of how this can manifest and what you need to have it manifest by putting different things on it, like going for Mercury and then also going for Venus, for example, if that's what you're wanting to do. So you can be very creative with what you're doing, rather than just go, okay, I want to have this $1 million house, or probably these days homes are probably cost far more than that if you're wanting to have a luxury home. How are you going to manifest that amount of money to be able to buy a house like that? You know, there's a lot of different angles you're going to have to go at it. But I know that there's a lot of people who practice law of attraction who think that they're going to get that just by simply imagining that they already have it, without understanding that the chances of them winning the lotto to get it are probably very, very, very low. And even though it does happen, it doesn't happen to everybody who's doing this kind of work. So what do you need to do? Okay, you need to think of how you're going to get that income. So that means you've got to start planning your life. You've got to start planning your career. You've got to start planning all these things and doing whatever it is that you need to do to make that happen. So I guess the short answer is, from my personal experience, is that both work, but not always. Sometimes you need to add those extra ingredients of the spell. Other times you don't, and it really seems to be to do with timing, how quickly you want to bring something in. Law of attraction can take a long time, and it really is a case-by-case thing. I've found with myself, it's a case-by-case thing. Sometimes the law of attraction stuff of just desiring something, feeling like it's okay that I deserve it, and acting as if I already have it is enough. Other times it's not enough. Other times I need to add more traditional magic to it. So experiment, experiment, experiment. Play with this. Find out what works for you. There is no, I know that there's a lot of people who say that, you know, you have to do this and you have to do that when it comes to magic, but I have found that magic may have conventions, but it doesn't necessarily have rules. So it's really about experimenting and finding out what works for you. So try all of these different methods and see what works for you. Try spell casting for something. Try not doing anything at all, just doing intention work, and see how that goes. What works better for you in different circumstances. Because sometimes intention is all you need. And there's certainly been some experiments around that. I think I've even done a video about that, about the experiments that have been done, the intention experiment. But then there's also cases for magic as well that involves intention, but it involves more than just intention. That there's other things that need to be added other than intention to actually enhance your magic or make it more powerful. So you have your intention, but in magic you're working with the planets, you're working with deities, you're working even with spirits, or you're working with other correspondences from herbs and from crystals. So you're working with other things in magic. Whereas if you're just doing the law of attraction work, you're only really working with yourself and the universe. So experiment with it. There's no scientific experiment that has been done that says this is exactly how it works and this is what you have to do. It all comes down to experimentation. So that probably doesn't really answer the question, because I'm basically saying it can work either way depending on what it is that you want and depending on how available it is to you in your sphere of availability and how complicated it is. It really depends. So experiment, experiment, experiment. If you want to get better at spell casting or get better at just being more wise with it and treat it as in the same way you treat any type of goal that you're going for, and you want to become better at asking yourself the right questions so that you're fashioning your magic in the right way, do download my free spellcaster checklist. It's in the description field below this video. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. Blessed be.